you roll with me, the colors start to come back. Won't you roll with me? When you roll with me, the colors start to come back. Won't you roll with me?
Welcome to Radical Listening, a Portland podcast where we talk to local artists about their current projects. I'm your host, Phil Johnson. That's at Phil Johnson Live.
And I'm Clifton Holtznagel, the co-host, and you can find me on Instagram at HoltzBagel. That's Holz Bagel. Now, today we have two guests who are currently members of the Institute for Contemporary Performance, and they've got their final show coming up called Lost, Found, and the Liberation that accompanies both. You can see that at Coho Theater May 16th through 19th.
I'm really excited about these guys. We were able to see some of their work today, and I was blown away. I love audience interaction. I love clowning, and I think that this piece in particular has got a lot of great qualities. I'm very excited to talk to these guys.
Yeah. What's great is there's going to be 7 small performances within the entirety of the thing. So we've seen a few of them so far, and we're going to get to talk to Bayley Brown and Julia Brandenberger. Bayley, how are you today?
I'm great, and you can find me on Instagram at Bayley, Bayley, B Brown, Brown.
Yeah, she jumps right in. I like that.
Yeah. How about you, Julia?
I'm doing well. I don't have an Instagram yet.
That's fine.
No Instagram.
No Instagram. I'm on Facebook.
Yeah,
Facebook.
But you have to add her as a friend.
OG.
You can't like her as a page.
No, you can like me as a page.
You can like you as a page?
Here, let me tell you how to find
deets?
me. All right, it's Facebook Rogue Theology, ROGUE space THEOLOGY.
Nice. I gotta
Bayley,
say,
what's so funny?
Clifton started this whole spelling your ad out, and it's really caught on. I don't know that I'm a fan.
I don't think we have to do it.
No, it's great. You know, it is what it is. So, in case you don't know how to spell Phil Johnson Live,
could you tell us how to spell Phil Johnson Live?
You can wait till the end of the show where I'll be spelling it forwards and backwards.
Wow.
That's really quite impressive.
Well, now you have to commit to that. You really got to do it.
Well, no, you think I'm joking, but I'm actually very serious.
Yeah.
I'll also be.
You don't know the kind of shit we'll add in post.
So, guys, glad to have you with us. Please tell me about how you got involved with ICP and how this project in particular got started.
Well, this is Bayley speaking again. I happened to do the Del Arte Summer Intensive with Clifton a few summers ago. Okay. And that's a 3-week intensive physical theater program. And I was looking at different programs around the country to get involved with. And it just was the right time for me to expand my skills. I was looking for something to completely push me out of my comfort zone in the physical theater realm. Okay. And I found the Institute for Contemporary Performance. And so I decided to move up here to attend the program.
Great. Mm-hmm. How about you?
I came from Philadelphia. I moved here last July, and I'd been doing devised theater in Philly with, I started at Headlong in their program, Headlong Dance Theater, and that was in 2015, had been devising work since then, and when I got to Portland, I was looking for devising groups, theaters to get connected with, and I found the training program, and it was a lot of material that I hadn't done before in devising and physical theater, so yeah, that's why I went for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously, when I was looking at your piece, I could tell that you have a heavy dance background. What dance did you do, and how did you transfer from dance into theater?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. So I'm a Quaker. We have this phrase called way opening. Okay. And then there's also way closing. Okay. You know, so like way opening is like opportunities arise and just pop up, and way closing is like nope. So dance for me, I'm a ballet dancer. And the ballet world is just a hell of a lot of way closing. But the good thing about way closing is it points you in a direction. So for me, it just started to feel like, okay, I love dance. I've got to stay connected to it, but there's something else out there for me. There's more out there. I have to keep looking and exploring. I know I'm a performer. And I started improvising at a music festival and like just found that, whoa, like I really love playing with people. I love playing with an audience. I'm a comedian. And then just from there, I took off clown and everything else. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so, in your background, so how did you make that transition? I mean, were you always in comedy specifically, or were you a theater person growing up, or?
My first memory is riding an elephant. That's serious.
That's your first memory.
Yeah.
So you just kind of woke up on an elephant one day.
It's like, this is how it's gonna be.
No, it's like whenever I was, I don't know, in middle school, I was like, Mom, did I ride an elephant? And she's like, yes, you did. And I was like 2.5.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of knew that was because I remembered it being hairy and being surprised that it was hairy and being on top of it. But whenever I was 18 and I was leaving, I was always a class clown in school, at least through high school. I was too shy before that. I decided to get into clowning with a friend of mine who was traveling around the United States and doing street performance.
Okay.
And so that was my first real introduction to clown, besides going to like circus performances or seeing them put up the tent whenever I was a kid and that sort of thing. But like actually like being involved with it and trying to do things like balancing like a pool stick on your hand and transferring it to another, or doing it on your chin or whatever. And then I was a radio professional for 14, 15 years, and I ended up in Humboldt County, California, and they have one of the best physical theater programs in the world. And it showed me that clown can be connected to theater, which I love, and it showed me some of my favorite things growing up, like Charlie Chaplin and the Three Stooges, like can be realized on stage. And after being immersed in that community for several years, I knew that I had to, having a reporter background, I need to have viewpoints from many different angles. And so I was looking for a program that was going to give me a different viewpoint. And so that's one reason that I decided to come up here. I know that many of the people that are involved with the program have a deep background in like the City Company from New York. And so that was really neat. And I've heard that Philip is great, and I've had experience, so I know this now. He's great to work with in the clown realm. And so I wanted to seek a program that would help me enhance those skills. And it's part-time, so I was able to go to school and work, so I didn't go into debt, which was awesome.
Which is important.
Very huge. Yeah, I was wondering, because you've been so plugged into the Del Arte community for a while, right? Because you did the 3-week intensive, but you've been like going to their showings for a long time. Is that true?
And I lived in Blue Lake.
Right. So you were around them all the time. You know what that's about. I was just kind of wondering, like, what are the differences you've seen between the Del Arte program versus ICP?
I never took the professional training program, and I never took the 3 years master's program at Del Arte. And so Del Arte is way more character based, way more Lecoq based, way more, although it's like a medley of many different styles whenever you're into that program. Here it's also a medley of different things. It's medley rather, different things. But they focus, like the Del Arte program, they don't really go over Suzuki. They don't really have, I noticed, maybe it's because one of our cohort members is really into Grotowski, but I've learned way more about him, and I know that they only do that for a very short time at Del Arte. Also, they cover Anne Bogart a lot more in the ICP program. It's just different ways of approaching different things.
Totally.
Yeah.
For either of you, is there any one of the methods at ICP that has been resonating with you most strongly out of the several methods they teach?
Well, I'm a clown at heart. I mean, I think Philip's style of clowning emphasizes like sharpness and crispness, and I'm coming from a pachinko background, and it's so improv. And so when I first got into Philip's clown, it was like, we're setting clown. This is outrageous. What the hell is this? But I mean, it helps to kind of land the, like he's really into like land those takes with the audience and like shoot, and like your energy coming from your solar plexus, because I was always taught like eyes, and I don't think that's wrong, but also having it, you know, energy from the solar plexus pointing in a certain direction and being crisper and sharper. I think that has dramatically helped my clowning. I still have to put it in my piece, that kind of sharpness, but no, I feel like I've learned from him a lot, so yeah.
Yeah, you were hitting the sharpness pretty well. I could see Philip's training in there.
Okay, good. Awesome. Good job.
But, you know, there's always, that was hard for me, too. You know, it's like
right.
that very specific, like, just, you know, remembering to even, like, land that take before you exit or whatever, you know. It's a really cool exercise to be holding so many things in your mind at once. Be like, try to have some sort of freedom and expression, but then also remember these very technical things about, like, hit that mark and hit that mark. But when, I don't know,
totally.
When you learn what's funny and then how to accent it lands even better, you know.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because the piece, the Clown Bolero piece, is about mixing clown and ballet, and I've seen so many overlaps in them, and that's another one. It's like how to have that freedom of expression while also hitting these very specific things and a million things going on in your head at once that you have to kind of scan and do it all and then remember what's most important and prioritize. And so yeah, it's like there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, totally. How about you, Bailey? Any one of the methods in particular that's been resonating with you?
Yeah, you happen to be in the room with like the two clowns in the program,
right.
Like the two clown enthusiasts, rather. Although there are some, like, all of our ensemble members are fantastic at clown. But Julia and I are doing the most clown in the production piece, and so we're obviously the most attracted to that. And Philip's way of clowning, it's I see it's inspiration, the commedia influences within that, and I really like being able to have that and being able to feel the sense of timing more for certain things.
Yeah.
And so I'm really attracted. I get really excited about his classes. I actually at times plan flights around going to clown. I'd be able to make it. I had to go home because my mom was sick a couple times. But yeah, I love that. And I also love the viewpoints training as well. Yeah. And it was, I did not know too much about viewpoints beforehand. But then doing it, it's been really, really fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. So I'm interested to talk a little bit more about the show that you guys are performing next week. So what was the seed for that show? What was the first, gesture or source material that kind of sparked the performance?
It'll be different. The answers for that will be different for probably each person, because we all really have separate pieces. The spark for Clown Bolero came in November of last year. That's when that idea first sparked, and I thought, okay. And then at first I just did it in my living room here in January, and then it worked its way into the the program, and then it was like, okay, this has to live through the program and live out through the show. And then Finances came in January, I think. About January, yeah.
And so how did Finances start? Did you say, hey, I want to talk about artists and finances, or?
Well, I wanted to make a character and really explore deep character creation. And that was something that I really wanted to do. And Julia had this great proposition for taking this serious information that she's been working on about how it being so difficult to be an artist and different ways that people make it work, and trying to do a presentation in order to share that information with people, but in an entertaining way. And so originally Julia was not going to perform in the piece, and August, who does Mr. Blue, was performing in it. And so August and I had started by just doing some writing after reading Julia's research. And then we wrote each other compositions, which is basically some prompts with how to start creating something. And we did a series of like 4 to 6 of them, and started developing our characters from those.
Okay. And so the costumes that your characters are in, at what point did that come into the room? Do you develop the clown character first and then you layer the costume on, or do you kind of find the clown character through the costume?
So the inspiration for those, at first there were 3 of them, and they were all motivational types. So there was one new age speaker, motivational speaker, like you can do it, you can like heal your life, blah blah blah. Yeah. Then there's the workout instructor who's like, you got this, keep going, keep pushing. And then there's the dominatrix who's like, you're gonna do this. I'm gonna tell you how to do it right now. You know, and like really like, you know, these 3 types of motivation. And the dominatrix was in there for like a hot second, and then it kind of fell away. And then what happened is I actually got a disc injury to my spine. And then I started having to do intense, like really intense PT every night, physical therapy every night. And as I'm doing this physical therapy, then it just like sparks in my head. I'm like, oh, what I'm doing to my back to rebalance my muscles. That's a metaphor for what we could be doing with this whole lecture. You know, like finding some way to give an art therapy, or not a revenue therapy to our artistic practice. How to balance it so that we don't injure ourselves and burn out. You know, essentially. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I'm the fitness instructor. And then how did BJ? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, August gave me a prompt to have a character that hopped the ore green originally.
Okay.
And so BJ started out as kind of like an elf, and then kind of turned into a character that was inspired by a raccoon. And then just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of walked into the room one day with,
and you're like,
with my glasses on, with BJ. It started with those others, and I was searching around to the dominatrix for a minute, but then BJ just kind of wanted to come out. And so Billy Joe is my character's name, and she's a 70-year-old accountant. And I'd wanted to explore what it was like to be older earlier, and I had expressed that, and actually played a older witch kind of lady in a smaller production that we did in December. And so I've wanted to know what it's like to move and to have the energy and to have the body of somebody who is a different age group than I am. And 70 is like as far away as I could fathom trying to go. And I am way more in the creative realm nowadays, although I used to be super into math and stuff, and so I guess part of me is still kind of there. Yeah. And so I just walked in, and I had the glasses, and I put a work light right in front of me, and it had this great effect. And that was BJ. And originally she wore a sweatshirt that said, I can make the world better.
Aw. I like, it's funny because like you say like went from elf to raccoon to 70-year-old lady, and that might sound ridiculous, but like I'm like, I can see that, you know, like looking at the character also, you know, I can see that. And
it seems like there's a lot of like really relatable frustrations that kind of come out in this piece.
Oh Lord.
Do you guys feel like there's kind of an element of catharsis for you in this piece?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I was really excited. At first, you know, I do the sighs in the beginning, and then Philip suggested, and during the song, during Jock Jams, he's like, why don't you just scream? And I was like, that's what it feels like. Because these are really what they're supposed to be, are prayers, and that's what it feels like. It's like, God, please fucking, oh, excuse me, I don't know if you but, you know, like, just, God, oh my God, what's going on? How am I going to make this work? You know, and like, it's so cathartic. It's like, this is what it feels like to be an artist in America. So, yeah.
And it's like, why does it have to be this hard?
Yeah.
Why is it this tough? Like, why do I have to work like 80 hours a week?
Right.
Yeah.
Like doing several different things just to make ends meet. And like, I'm doing everything that I want to do for like basically free.
Just because nobody respects what we do, you know? I mean, we have to entertain and then we have to work. One of the parts that really impacted me was that moment when you mentioned, oh yeah, you have to be a creator, but then you have to be a marketer, and then you know,
a project manager too, because you're a project manager too, obviously.
Yeah.
I thought it was also funny. You were like, broke it down, and I don't want to give everything away, but you basically broke it down to like, well, if you want to make like a reasonable living, it's like, you know, you got to bill yourself, you know, $30 an hour, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it was just like hilarious.
Who's gonna pay that?
We're like, ha ha ha. It's like to make $45,000 a year. It's like we're just like, yeah, right.
And $45,000 a year is not a lot of money.
No.
Even a lot of money.
Yeah. Most people are like, you know, trying to make more than that.
Exactly.
That shit was
Most
avocado.
careers start with $45,000.
I was gonna say that's an entry
Right,
position.
that's, yeah.
I know, and I talk to people like my sister, who's like a social worker, and she's like, I'm trying to find a new job, but you know, if they're not talking about $60,000 a year, I don't even know how to apply. I'm like, like,
But to be honest, making $60,000 a year in social work, I don't even know
Right.
how you do that.
No, but it's highly relatable content for any entrepreneur, really. Because my,
So
my
true.
neighbor is, she's a career coach, and she felt like, yeah, this was totally relatable to me. I don't know if she would identify as an artist, but yeah, for anybody who's trying to push their own. I mean, artists, we are just individual businesses, and if you're trying to push your own business, it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
But then other pieces within the festival also go on the same topic. Like Lady in Pink, it
Right.
talks about how crazy it is that you have to basically block out your schedule
Yeah.
so much.
And I think there's something about that program, that program in particular, that teaches you about it. Because I mean, it's like I did college, and that was like I was just going to college when I was in college. I was lucky enough that I wasn't really having to like support myself while I was in college.
I like
But
how
then,
you phrased that. I did college.
You know, like, right? Because then it was like, then I did this year-long program. It's like, yeah, I'm doing that, but I'm also like working all day. And there was like a 5-month period when I didn't have a day off.
Right, exactly.
You know? And it just made me think, do I really want to be doing this? And I've worked in a lot of production jobs and factories and stuff like that. And I talk to entrepreneurs and a lot of small business people, like one person businesses. I've worked around people who were like doing that, and like this one guy who makes a coffee drink, and he's like, yeah, it's one thing to make like a good product. Like a lot of people can make a good product. Selling it's the hard part, you know? And it just, when you just said it, reminded me, like, right, because we're businesses, and you know, there's a lot of great artists out there with no idea how to sell what they're making,
Right.
and that in a capitalist society, and like capitalism, it's gonna fuck you up. So
It's true. It's true. For all the young artists out there,
don't do it. I mean, keep going.
no. Study business.
Study business.
And then become an artist.
No, for real. That would be
Go to
if
school
I
for
could.
business, and if you can still make art while you're doing it, then you can be an artist.
All
real,
of my
yeah.
favorite artists are businessmen.
But for real, like if you go to your undergrad, get some sort of research. Here's my advice: research the highest paying jobs that you can do part time. If you can get a job that is like and I've gotten close with field marketing. I'm super close, but if you can get a job that is $30 an hour, and you can work like 20 hours a week, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And then you need to learn also how to invest. Essentially, I mean, like I'm not an investment pro or a business pro or anything like that. But we need to be able to create our own retirement funds.
Well, of course, finances and Clown Blair are going to be awesome, but also the rest of it's going to be awesome too.
Great, yeah.
We're going to start off with a completely immersive experience that's going to probably push your boundaries.
It's the Mountain Goats, right?
And yeah,
What's the
Mountain
Mountain
Goats.
Yeah, I got to see a little run through with that earlier. Participate in a run through with that.
And the question is, did you dance?
Oh, I danced.
Yeah,
I did
we
the
all
whole
danced.
thing. I went through it. Did you get to go through it?
Yeah.
Nice. He went through it. Good. Yeah, we both.
Well, I didn't go through it, but I danced.
You danced.
Yeah,
Yes.
the night that I came to
Teach
work.
me how to roll. It's been a long time since anybody's rolled with me. Anyways, yeah. It was,
yeah, Keegan cracks me up.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, you got 7 pieces of that's the first one. Yeah.
And then there's Lady in Pink.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any of that?
Whose is that one?
That's one of Claire's. Claire is in 3 now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just saw the Claire and Keegan piece.
Palindrome missions.
Yes,
Yeah.
which was exactly, which was great.
Which is going to come after intermission.
Oh, cool. Well, who do you think this show is for? You know, like if you were to say our target audience, you know, thinking like a marketer, as we all do.
Because we are.
Well, this isn't a smooth financial move, but our target audience is artists for sure, for finances. I mean, I want people in that room to feel like they're really seen, but also to have people who aren't as aware of what really goes into the work of being an entrepreneur or an artist, just kind of get a look at it. So, here's a good financial strategy.
Yeah.
Let's get lots of investors in that room.
It's our target audience.
Yeah,
people with money.
our target audience is investors.
Yeah. We should go to Nike and put up our flag.
Oh,
What do you guys think about this? This is something I thought of recently. The difference between art and entertainment, right?
Okay.
Art needs funding. Entertainment breaks even.
Entertainment
Thoughts?
profits.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Breaks even.
Well, yeah.
Profit.
No.
Well, okay. I thought there was.
Well, I don't know. It
Whatever.
depends.
I
It
don't
depends
know,
because
it's
a lot of like art makes a lot of money as well. You know, like
Right.
high concept art.
Sure. Such as.
But then a lot of movies nowadays also
Meow
lose
Wolf.
money on the budget.
That's true. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true.
Meow Wolf. Do you know
Yeah,
Meow
Wolf. Yeah.
So I think it's art.
Totally. Yeah.
It's making lots of money.
You know what I've been seeing? You know what I think that they do, and I think what a lot of people do that's been working well is when you, when an organization hires independent artists to make their art. Because I think that's what a lot of Meow Wolf does.
Yes.
I'm not sure how much. I mean, I'm sure they have a core group of people, but from what I can tell, I've never gone there. It's like, how would you describe Meow Wolf? It's like a interactive, big installation-y type place you can go to interact with art. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like the quintessential installation, interactive, fully submersive. You go into another world, you go into another dimension type of deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from what I can tell, though, it's like, yeah, they've got people that work there, but they also hire out people to do specific parts, specific installations.
Correct,
And I think that's what's been working is the people who can connect people with art are the ones actually making the money.
Right.
But they're also the ones who will pay you as an artist to make the things.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
I think
That's
definitely
funding.
not.
I would call that funding.
Funding.
because the artists, I mean, probably making money, but like the profit, the breaking even goes to the people who are doing it, and they're maybe entertaining people with what they're putting together.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, there's an article in the New Yorker or something along those lines, but it was saying that Meow Wolf might be the new Disney World. I mean, it's a stretch,
Sure.
but they were
No,
saying
I get
that because
that.
they're cropping up in DC, Denver, Vegas.
Wow.
You know, so they're growing and
People want to see that stuff. That's
Exactly.
what people are really actually wanting to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, back to the show.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think it's definitely not for kids, but I think adults should come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see 16 plus, although none of the
You think there's
content's
any,
like any.
yeah, do you think there's anything content-wise that really a child shouldn't see?
I don't think so. They're just not.
I mean,
They're not
I just think
for
attention.
kids, yeah.
I just think attention spans.
Yeah. Exactly.
But a kid
I
who's
feel like
interested in art, maybe they want to see it.
Right.
I mean, I feel like a kid would love your guys' show.
Yes, yeah, I think that, yeah, I mean, they're not going to necessarily get it, but
They
yeah,
all
I
do
think
jokes,
they're,
but you guys are funny enough.
Yeah.
You know, the characters
It's
are big
animated.
enough. You get that.
it's animated, yeah.
The voice
yeah,
in
yeah.
that megaphone, let me tell you, is quite perfect. That
Yeah.
thing's hilarious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I actually, with this process of you guys, it seems like you guys kind of break off into groups to work. How often do you guys get to see other people's performances? Do you just kind of sneak in on other people's rehearsals, or are you blind to other people's performances before opening night, or how does that all work?
We have Sundays showings. Every Sunday we, since February, I think, we've been able to see the other people's work every Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's been really great and really inspiring. And we overlap in the weirdest ways. sometimes.
What are some of the elements about some of the other shows that you guys like? The other bits?
Well, there's a kind of a beautiful. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, the Mr. Blue has this kind of beautiful physicality about it that I really like.
At times, I feel like I want to cry whenever I watch it.
Yeah, it's got a really lovely physicality to it.
And Palindrome Machines is based on. Is that Anne Bogart? What?
She's in the Nina Bausch. Is that the Claire
Tina
one?
Bausch, yeah.
She's been talking about her for a while, and
Yeah.
I think I saw some video from that, and I'm wondering if that's because I know she's heavily influenced by her.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but that is also really cool to see Claire and Keegan move in that way. And Mountain Goats, the found objects in the sense of play within that.
It has some heavy David Lynch influences. To me, I felt like when I was watching that one, I felt like I was like Agent Cooper in the room because it almost felt it was a little man talking to me, and then there was a blue flower, which is like blue velvet, the blue rose. It's a whole motif throughout like Lynch movies, and so I was like, holy shit, there it is. So that struck me. I liked it a lot.
And Falling Man too has some very beautiful but sad moments, although that I know that they are still in the midst of developing it and making it come together. And so I am very excited to see what that ends up turning out to be, because I've heard some things. We're going to maybe see some more on Sunday. Yeah. And then there's a lot of like water elements to it.
Do you think all of them have an interactive element, or because I feel like the ones that I've seen have had that, but not all of them?
Mm-mm. No, okay. I would say Palindromes does not.
No.
Lady in Pink, no, it does not. And then the Falling Man does not. So yeah, I would say
Mr. Blue.
Mr. Blue does not. Yeah. Yeah, so 3 pieces have interactive. Yeah, you've just seen the interactive ones.
I've seen the 3 interactive ones. That's funny.
Well, that's why the interactive ones are like, yes, please come. We need an audience.
Yeah. I've been there.
Something I've noticed about theater being produced by like our generation of people is that we really like that interactive quality. There seems to be kind of a big push for audience participation. Have you noticed that, or is that something that you actively think about, or does it just kind of come?
Even if it's just doing squats and handing out cookies.
I mean, because I honestly think about it as when I'm an audience member, I'm like, oh, you want me to do something, so that is no longer just breaking the fourth wall. Now you're kind of crossing the plane, and you're saying now you're giving me a job to do. Yeah. And so it just seems to be something that is prevalent in modern theater.
Okay, I will throw those pants at you.
Yeah, well, I was waiting for that.
Well, I mean, for me, that's kind of the cornerstone of all of my pieces. I really don't think I've ever made a piece. I tried with Clown Bolero, I think, but I really don't think I've ever made a piece where the audience isn't holding my hand. And that starts with where I got my, I said I was doing ballet until I found improv. Well, it wasn't just improv. It's actually, I was doing like a ghost tour, taking people on this journey through a campground. And when I bust into their campsite, they're acting out, like I make people get up and act out the story that I'm telling, and so it's really, everyone is in on it. And they're like, oh, it's not just like this chick performing. We're all making this piece of theater together, and it's a blast, and like for me, like that's really what gets me off. That's why I do this kind of work. It's like, so
Do you feel like there's a need to retrain audiences to be more participatory?
In my experience, no, because I think if you just set the piece up in the right way, they're willing to go there. That's my experience, that they just want to do it.
If you make it explicit too, like the way that you have like numbered bags, it's like they like to know when it's actually time, because there's something about audience participation where you kind of sometimes feel like the performers are like trolling you or something, and you don't want to be completely trolled the whole time. You're willing to play along until it feels like, okay, like, are you just making me do this to like make a point about how I'll do anything you say, or that sort of thing. So it's like a fine line to walk, and I don't know, I've been involved with a lot of projects where like we want to try to do something interactive, and then it kind of falls away just because, I don't know, theater people aren't trained in how to do that, and it becomes too hard to figure out or whatever. But it's a fun line to walk, and it's, I think, where a lot of innovation lies, is figuring out how to get audiences to help out, or like with the whistle, like how do you as a performer kind of orchestrate when the whistle will happen?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
to let it happen enough and happen at good times. And,
Right.
But that's based on when someone else is going to do it. So how do you make them do that?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and a lot of that is also just testing the waters with people. And you know, when I have a very serious performance called The Funeral for Expectations, where I ask people to sit in a circle with me, and we go around and we talk about our dead expectations. And that's a very personal thing for people to do. But they're so ready to, if I've done the performance right, if I've really nailed my expression in the piece, they're ready to just jump on in because they just want to. So it's about setting it up in a way where the audience feels like they're helping to make something, and they're like, I made this too, you know. And it's different than like coercion or anything.
Yeah.
How did you feel about being the easel earlier in Finances?
Being the easel, I was worried that my arm's going to go out. I found it hilarious. I'm always one who will raise my hand when it's time to, like, they're looking for someone. But it's mostly because I'm like, I don't want to sit here while people aren't raising their hand. So I'll do it. But that was funny. I mean, I was like, yeah, it was just funny because I was like, okay, I'm going to try to, like, be an easel and not laugh, and then I was just like completely engaged, and it was just funny. That was one of the funnier parts of the show. It was happening at that time too, so
you were
fun.
dying. Yeah. I came out and you were dying
because you were screaming about your cat and all that Christmas suit. So
I will say,
Roger looks good. Yeah, if you want to walk away with a picture of a cat with a stuffed animal, This is the show for you.
I was gonna say, I do think Finances has a fair amount of coercion to it. You know, having said all that, I do think Finances does that kind of thing. Like, are you gonna get up or not? You know?
After all the other pieces are like, yeah, we're gonna take care of you. It's like Finances is like, yeah, we're gonna have you come up here and stand here during a freak out.
Right.
And there's also, I think one of the things is like with the whole the squats and the repetition of it is when someone tells you to start doing something, then just keep going, and they stop referencing that you're doing it. You wonder if they're ever going to tell you when to stop, and then do I just have to stop on my own, or else I'll be doing this forever? So that's just like one of those things that's like in the negotiation of making audiences do things. It's like, don't make them feel like you forgot about them.
Right.
Well, like Finances is like trying to do all the things that are wrong. But make it right.
Yeah. Totally. Cool. Let's move to our next segment called Headlines.
Our favorite segment called Headlines.
We look through the papers and the internet, and we try and find some of the more provocative and interesting things online, and we just want to get your take on them because our audiences want to know.
Great.
So give us some headlines.
That's not
Julia. No, I'm just joking.
Man, that is totally what I'm Googling right now.
Oh, good.
So the first one I got says McDonald's released a new meatless vegan burger. And that was USA Today. So how do you guys feel about these meatless burgers, the meatless burger craze that seems to be taking over?
I'm highly allergic to coconut.
Does coconut have something to do with meatless burgers?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Coconut oil?
like the Impossible Burger, full of coconut.
What?
Weird. Like coconut meat?
Coconut meat?
Well, yeah, like there's coconut milk and there's coconut meat, right? There's like the meat of the coconut. That's like the soft part.
It's
like the part that they make flakes out of. The
I just know they have enough in it that it's like no go. But I don't go to McDonald's anyway, so.
Well, true.
I haven't had fast food since 2007.
Well, look at you.
So whatever.
I know. Look at this. Woo!
I didn't have
Life
any
goals.
Taco Bell today at all. I promise you that.
2008. It was 2008.
I always thought the meatless stuff was like grown in a lab. I didn't know it had anything to do with coconut.
Was it like the Impossible? Well, they're
Oh
doing
yeah,
that.
it's grown out in a field.
Well, I think that
Eating grass.
they are doing that like lab grown meat stuff where they're actually
that's what
growing
the
cells. That's what this one is. It's
Yeah.
lab grown meat. It's not a vegetable.
It's not a
thing.
plant based.
I don't think so.
It's
I think
lab grown.
I think lab grown meat is hitting the shelves.
I didn't think that was in the McDonald's one. I had heard recently that was like at this point like $10,000 an ounce or something because of the way it was. But
I just thought that
far be it from me. I only heard the headline.
You can only buy it with Bitcoin.
You can only buy Bitcoin.
I know lots of people are
Only
moving
2
away
Bitcoin.
from meat burgers because like meat is bad for the environment, like beef.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I like the idea of growing meat in the lab, and I would eat it. I am not above eating fast food, although I know that there are many problems with it. I feed
look
myself
at
for
this
cheap.
cool headline. One man's meat is another man's passion.
Oh, I love that.
That is prescient. That is good. One man's meat is another man's passion.
I kicked burning terrorists so hard in the balls that I tore my tendon.
Smiling man saying it, yeah? I like that.
I'm sorry.
I wow. Kicked burning terrorists so hard. When was a terrorist burning and why'd you kick him in the balls, bro? I think, if he's burning already, let him go down. You save your tendon. Don't get no tendinitis.
All right, here we go. Denver, first in U.S. to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms, and that's the Denver Post.
Hey.
Is this good or bad?
It doesn't surprise me.
Really?
Wasn't Colorado the first one to decriminalize pot?
I thought Alaska was, actually. But I don't know. I'm making
I'm not sure who did that one first. But, Denver was definitely up there. I think they were the first ones with recreational.
With recreational.
With recreational marijuana. I think it's a good thing. It's the first step in the legalization process and making sure that people aren't going to jail for the wrong things,
Yeah, I think that's mostly... I'm wondering who is getting caught with mushrooms, by the police. I don't know how often that has to happen.
They said it happened 3 times in the last 10 years or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So not a lot.
Yeah, not really. They already weren't worried about it, so let's just officially not be worried about it anymore. But I think it's good. It gets it out in the conversation, and I think psychedelics in general, people have been looking at their the positive benefits to them, and I think that's the first step in a greater acceptance and less stigma around people who use mind-altering substances.
It's true, and it also, there's a lot of talk about using it for treating depression and things like that.
Totally.
So, I think that there's a lot of medical potential with a lot of these things, but I think they also, just use that to get their foot in the door for people to be able to do what they want, which is a cool thing. So, there.
Drunk Amish teens crash buggy into police car.
Rumspringer. Get it.
Crash buggy.
2 men robbed of their marijuana in Westlake after practicing medieval sword fighting.
Robbed of their marijuana while they were sword fighting? They had swords. What the fuck? How are you gonna let someone steal your pot if you've got a sword? I'm sorry. That's hilarious. Is that Westlake, Ohio?
I don't know.
Because if it was, that'd be funny as fuck. Because would be a strange place for that to happen.
I could try to look.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Yeah.
Robbed of their marijuana.
I'm looking. I just googled funniest headlines. Hot dog vendor relishes his job.
Oh.
All right. On that note, let's do plugs.
Who's got the plug?
So yeah, who's got a plug? You got anything you want to plug?
Who's got the plug?
I do. Call me.
Tell us, Julia.
Yeah.
What's your plug, Julia
you
Brandenberger?
there in the front row, right there with the yellow headband.
Well,
on.
thank you.
Okay.
Oh no,
Okay.
I've got to type in my
You got
password
it?
one more time. Excuse me. Hello. I'm the representative for the Solo Festival 2019, Portland, Oregon. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Solo Fest. Okay, Solo Fest is a do-it-yourself festival dedicated to new experimental work, focusing on solo performance that is low maintenance and low stress. Hallelujah for that! Alrighty, Solo provides artistic opportunity and impetus for artists of all disciplines to create work that defies conventional theater expectations. Fantastic! I've got a little bit of a southern drawl going on now. Okay, now Solo... Switching regions. Solo Festival is run by volunteer labor. Therefore, it's free for artists to enter.
Free labor.
free. Okay. Okay, yes, it is
mean?
free labor. Okay, the 2019 festival is June 13th through 23rd. If you want to put a piece, let me start over. If you want to put a piece into Solo Fest, we want to see your piece. Go to Solo Fest. Damn it. Go to solopdx.com/join.
And how do you spell solo?
Oh, let me tell ya. It's SOLOW, as in so low to the ground. DIY, free. Performances, pay what you can. Performances are not free, they are pay what you can, free for artists to enter. solopdx.com.
And you're plugging that because you are entered in that, correct?
My boyfriend Colin, excuse me, I'm so close to this. My boyfriend Colin and I are the festival directors for Portland. We are putting this whole thing on.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And is this has happened other places, yes?
This started in Philadelphia in 2010. Yes, by a group of solo artists. They were all doing solos together, and then they decided, hey, why don't we just make a festival? So since then, it's grown exponentially, and it's amazing because it gives artists an opportunity to just make and show something. And I'm doing the performance in my living room here.
Where we are right now, yeah?
Where we are right now. So, yeah, and the festival really encourages artists to use spaces that are going to be non-traditional, so that the overhead costs are really low.
See, that's great, because you had reached out to me about doing this, and then I got all freaked out because I realized I needed to find a space, and I was like looking all around. But then you were like, what if you just did it before my piece in my living room? And
Just
I was
come
like,
to
living rooms.
Yeah,
That's
just come to
cool.
my living room, you know?
And now that I've seen your piece, Clown Bolero, and its dance influence, I had like two kind of piece ideas, and one of them is a tap dancing routine.
Yay.
And I don't know how to tap dance, so I feel like we'd be perfect.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yes.
What size do you wear?
What size do I wear, feet-wise? Usually like a 9, but it depends on the brand. Sometimes it's as low as an 8.
I found the other day at Goodwill 7 women's tap dancing shoes. 7 women's tap
cut the
dancing
back.
You
shoes.
found 7 of them? What?
How do you have anything that you want to promote?
I'd like to plug again
Yay, excellent.
Lost and Found and the liberation that accompanies both. May 16th through 19th at Coho Theater at 2257 Northwest Raleigh Street. So come out and see it. You can go to PeteEnsemble.org/ICP Festival. Not as Insane Clown Posse, but as an Institute for Contemporary Performance.
That was
Thank you for that
make
distinction.
sure that you do that. Although, if you want to come in, dressed as a clown, we're not going to say no.
Juggalos. I don't have any projects necessarily coming up at the moment, although I am hoping to be doing a slime workshop at Shift Festival, so keep your eye out for Dr. OK. That's me. I'll teach you how to make some slime. Otherwise, I'm really hoping to see Fire and Meat at Headwaters over the next, I think they're running this weekend.
I want to see that too.
And that would be, they're running just this coming weekend, which would be, what's this coming weekend? The 10th-ish? Yeah, we'll call it that. Up at Headwaters. Take a look.
Why is that?
Why is that? Oh, it's some people I know are doing that. It's a take on the Grendel story, I believe. And Eve Johnstone is the one who I believe wrote and directed that. Rutabaga Story Company is the theater company there, and she's a real go-getter. Me and her and Claire, who's in it, and someone else, we all dressed up in full-on black bodysuits the other day and did some weird shit in a room for a video. So, good people, go see it.
Great. For me, while we're talking about devising, the Vanport Mosaic Festival is running the weekend of May 25th through June 2nd. That's led by Damaris Webb, and they're going to put together, it's kind of like a short, 20-minute piece that they've put together over the last 6 weeks or something like that. I've been involved with that. I'm doing sound design for it. It's funny, and that is happening. It's happening at the Interstate Fire Cultural Center 5340 North Interstate Avenue. Again, that's the weekend of May 25th. It's coming right up. I also did design for Cop Out, which will be opening next weekend and running for 2 weeks. So if you get a chance to see Cop Out, you definitely should. And thank you guys so much for
Thanks for hanging in there, y'all. Thanks for showing us your work and letting us come into your home and record.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Next time we're charging you.
Great.
Thanks again. I'm Phil Johnson. That's at Phil Johnson Live. PhilJohnsonLive on Instagram.
Backwards.
And Twitter.
You said backwards.
Yeah, backwards.
We
want backwards. We want
OSNHOJLIH.
And this is Clifton Holtznagel again. You can figure out the spelling on your fucking own.
Radical listening.
Radical listening.
Y'all can be a little bit more active. 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 The others will be here soon. You'll meet them. Y'all can be a little bit more active. Y'all can be a little bit more active.